All right, so I posted a thing on there earlier that was a classic of an old video that I had made. No, it was of the cookbook. The video was a day or so ago, but anyway, Sarah and I haven't done one of these in a while, and I wanted to show this is a pretty cool recipe that I haven't done in a long time, but it's super delicious. Doesn't take a whole lot of prep work, and it's something that maybe a lot of people don't make. So I'll show you real quick. What I've got here is that skillet back there has a little bit of a white carrot, a little bacon, and a little onion sauteing in. And I'll show you, I like to cut these real fine when I'm doing this. And I'm going to show you why here in just a minute. Sarah and I talk a lot of times about chop something really finely. Now I've got a boning knife here. Not the ideal thing for what I'm doing, but you'll see why I've got this out in just a minute. But anyway, so you see that on that onion. On this carrot, I would take him, cut him into different pieces, about thirds, and then cut across those to get that real fine dice. And it's going to make sense in a minute why I want these really small when we get into this pork here in just a second. Then I've got some bacon here, same thing. I'm just cutting it as small as I can. And again, you'll see in just a minute why that matters. So I take all this and I just put it in a skillet. No oil, no salt, no pepper, any of that. We're going to see why in just a minute on that as well. Stir that up. All I want that to do is saute down. Now I'm not trying to get that bacon really crispy, because when this goes in here, and I stuff this in just a minute, I don't want that to be really super crispy, and by the time it gets done baking again, it'd be extremely hard. So what I've got is a boneless pork loin. This is half of it. You notice it has the sinew on the top, a little bit of fat, little sinew. I like to take that off. That's kind of why I have this boning knife, because it works a little bit better for this. Because all I want to do is just take this very top cap off. So just start peeling it back, cutting it. Comes off pretty quick, really. Helps if you have a really sharp knife to do this. Fillet knife works really good for this too. Your big kitchen knives, great for chopping and things of that nature, but not so great for taking something really fine like this off. I've done it with them, it'll work, but if you got better tools for the job, use your better tools. So bring it around here, kind of cut this off. So what I've got left is this, just a boneless pork loin. That knife's telling me it wanted to be used. So what I've got here, when I take this, hopefully you can see this on there. I want to cut through the top of this. And ideally, I want this cut to be about a ½ an inch deep. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go all the way around this loin, like so, about a ½ an inch deep. Now, try not to cut all the way through that, because if you do, you're going to be making this like a lasagna in layers instead of in one piece. So we just keep on going around, kind of unrolling it. You can watch where your knife's going. See where you're at in that. So it's kind of laying out flat. Just keep going with it and unrolling it as you go. I cut all the way through that piece, but that's not going to matter all the way down there. Well, that one wouldn't be all that great, but whatever. Okay, so you get it all unrolled, and it looks something like that. That part's a little thick, that part's a little thin, but this is not going to matter. So I've got this all unrolled here and laid out flat. You'll notice earlier I did not salt and pepper the bacon and the carrot and the onion that's in the skillet, because I really want to salt this. Now the first thing I want to do here is kind of give that a little pound to where it would be maybe roughly the same thickness. Not exactly, but a little. Probably going to jack the camera up there for just a minute. Pieces go flying. You can put plastic wrap over that. Stop. pieces from going flying. Just kind of pound that out a little bit. You don't have to do that step if you don't want to, but kind of makes it a little more even. So I got my salt. Come in here with the salt. Not a ton. I'm not a big salter. Little garlic powder. You could just mix some garlic in with your bacon and your carrots and your onions if you want it. Be fine. Smoked paprika, which you know Sarah and I use a lot of. Little pepper. Just plain old black pepper. A little bit of red pepper flakes just to give this a little bit of heat. Not much, just a little. And then last but not least, I can find it, some oregano. Now again, I'm just trying to get all the flavor that I can get out of this. And when I cut that down there just a minute ago, and I kind of messed up and cut all the way through that, I'm going to start on that end. Otherwise, I'd get to that end and it would fall off if it was on the top. So I'll start with that end. Now I've got my carrots and my onions and my bacon cooked up here. You can do this without cooking these. Hopefully you can see those. It makes the center of these, they usually don't get super soft. So if you want them a little bit softer, go ahead and give them a little bit of a cook up. I'll take a paper towel here and I'm going to hold it. Of course that's super hot, so I'm going to hold it with the spatula, and I'm going to try and soak up a little bit of that oil because I don't need all that in the middle of my pork. A little of it's not going to be bad, but I want all of it. So I'll take that. I soaked up a little bit. Now I'm going to take this, and I'm going to sprinkle this over the inside of this pork loin. Doesn't have to be even, just as good as you can get it. Don't spend a lot of time on these steps. Cooking should be fun, and fun is not stressing over where every single piece ends up. So get this all over here like so. Again, I've done this with raw bacon. The problem with it is the bacon's not very good by the time it gets cooked. The bacon's still soft in the middle, but anyway, got all that in there like so. Get as much of that as I can out of there. Spread it around here a little. Last thing I would put in here, if we have some, so hopefully do, is a little cheese. It does not matter. Let me see what we got here. Does not matter what kind of cheese you put in it. I have a little bit. This is just some Swiss and some Gruyere. Does not matter what you put in there. We don't have very much of this, but I'm going to put what we have in there. See if we got a little Parmesan somewhere. If I can find it. Which I don't seem to be able to. Could have been a little more ready for that step. Oh well. Ah well, it doesn't matter. So I've got the oven set on 300. Got all my goodies on here. Now this is the key. And sometimes this goes good, and sometimes this doesn't. You'll see I'm all dirty too. Been out on the farm all day, so you still have to eat a good meal even when you're dirty. So what you want to do is you want to take this and you want to roll it. And the tighter you can roll this, the better your end result ends up. Now you'll notice I sliced all the way through that. Hopefully that overlaps down here in just a minute, which it's going to. You roll this up like so. I've got some toothpicks here. You could tie this if you want. I don't really care too much to do that, but you could if you wanted, if you were really concerned with that. Now, I push these toothpicks down in there pretty far because I want that down, or as close to be as I could get to down. So there we have our rolled up pork. I will hit that with just a little bit more salt. A little more pepper on the outside of that. And this baby's ready to go in the oven. Now this will take about 2.5 hours probably. Right now it's almost 3 o'clock. I'm guessing I'll check this around 5:15, 5:30. But anyway, all that is the bacon, the onions, the carrots, a few of the herbs and spices on the inside, a little cheese, rolled up nice and tight, and then we'll take a picture of it. Oh, I'm sorry, I said 300 on that oven. I've got it set on 275. It's actually on 275, not 300, so I'll put it in there. Notice I did not cover that. I'll check that in about an hour, and if it looks like it's getting too much color, then I'll probably go in there and put some foil over the top of it. But usually I don't. It should be fine. So anyway, I'll show you the pictures when that comes out. But quick little recipe for a dinner one night this week or something like that, and it's going to be really good.